Hello everyone, October the 26th. So we're just a couple days away from the second eclipse in this season and the last of the year 2023, which will be a partial lunar eclipse. And this is what it looks like in the heavens. This is how much there will be obscured from the moon, cut off a little bit, a little piece, and the rest of the moon will be in the semi-shadow, in the pre-umbra, and this is where the eclipse can be viewed. So you see this time it will be Africa, Europe and Asia which have nighttime during that eclipse occurrence. Now as you see, the eclipse is exact at 2014-04 universal time. And if we look into the astrology of this moment, 2014-04 universal time, that is short before the moon is full, 5:03. You see is the reading here in Taurus versus 5:08 is the sun in Scorpio. That means still a little bit to go. That means this is about an ending of something, bring something to a conclusion, to an end, and still there is this compression which is building up, getting greater and greater. It is interesting that the solar eclipse, which happened 2 weeks ago on the 14th, was happening shortly after the new moon, which was the opening of a whole new cycle, a whole new era, so to say. And the lunar eclipse now comes and says, wait, first we have to finish a big chapter. Interesting is that exactly this degree, this is where Jupiter will be turning direct on the last day of this year. Here you see it at 5:34, that is upcoming. So really, and here you have the nodes at 21:11 Aries and Libra. As you remember, this is pretty exact the degrees where the solar eclipse occurred, 2109, 2107, the sun was. So you see both eclipses are coming to life through this Jupiter station by the end of the year. So in a way we could say what is happening in this month of October particularly, and as we keep going, and I said that already earlier, October is really the preview for what's coming in 2024, laying the foundations, planting the seeds, and in this eclipse play out, it's very obvious. And this eclipse, both of them actually are affecting the American nation, or what I also say as the new world chart, the new earth, which I still think is the true beginning of this new area. We are getting into. The United States is a very young nation. You have to consider only 40 some years old, which is nothing in a bigger understanding of evolution. So this seed of bringing something totally new, and this is existence, is just coming out of its puberty, so to say, coming to understand its full power to the people. That's what it is. Now let me just say a few things here. Actually here I have the heliocentric chart, which is interesting in itself, and this is for another day. Let me just change it to the geocentric one here. And let's go back here also to the Saturn station, which I have here on the outer side, as this is a important next powerful date, which will be November the 4th. One to mark in your calendar when Saturn will station, going back into forward motion. More on that coming. It's interesting though, just as a little preview, this will happen with the sun exactly at the sunrise point in Greenwich, and there will be a Sun-Jupiter opposition at the time. So again, Jupiter coming into the focus. Jupiter is super important these days. Jupiter is all about expansion and opening of new worlds, of new possibilities, particularly as it is so powerfully placed, as I say here, on that degree where the eclipse is occurring on this upcoming Saturday, the 6th degree of Taurus. The 6th degree of Taurus also, according to this little book, which I often quote, those of you who are regularly tuning in here know that I love these interpretations. They shed some light onto how these planets manifest, and this particular degree is the cantilever bridge across a deep gorge, which connects two totally different levels of reality, if you want. So it's really that bridging over a chasm that is an integral part of the land upon which man's evolution must proceed. It's a step ahead must be taken. Yet an abyss confronts evolving man. So there is lots of really great images which come through these Sabian symbols. To conquer obstacles is the key phrase here which Rudyard gives. So let's look a little deeper. So we have the Greenwich chart again, which is the global chart. I often like to see it that way, as it's over the 0 meridian, and that is the degree which is right in the center of the skies over the 0 meridian, the 9th degree of Pisces, 9th degree of Virgo here at the root of this chart. Now look at this new world, new earth chart. That is where you have Orcus and Nessus here, which I will do another recording on that, I promise. I've been traveling, so I was really busy, so that's why I haven't done that yet. But Orcus and Nessus just had their 14th of 17 exact oppositions. So this pair is super important, and it is all about the transformation, the transmutation of the how shall I say that, Nessus being the pathological state of mind which is still ruling this planet. Is kind of you could say hinting at that interdimensional force which is hijacking nature. Interesting that Orcus, being a very similar in its expression to Pluto, it's about transformation, transmutation. As I say, it's actually the more feminine path of truly absorbing and changing from deep within, embracing that deep shadow, and that is a substantial part of this chart. If we look at the eclipse of this coming Saturday for Washington, D.C. There is this beautiful Venus, part of fortune, and descendant conjunction configuration. Actually, it's very exact, 1848, 1853, 1858. So the part of fortune is exactly here at the midpoint between Venus and the 7th house cusp, all still in the 6th house, which is about that loving care of a situation, and it's a very parental energy coming in and resolving something which has long been due to be accomplished. And actually there were some really amazing signs just today out of the United States that Republican Mike Johnson was elected as House Speaker, even though yesterday and the day before Tom Emmer was nominated, who withdrew. So this is kind of a really interesting twist I wrote here. Something powerful just took place behind the scenes. Impressive shift of tunes. And yes, you can look that up. I shared it here on my Facebook page. So this guy Johnson, he has always been supporting President Trump, which is super important, as this is where we're going. This all has to be straightened out. As we know, this is the very start, and it seems this month of October is really laying the foundations. Okay, this is not what we want. Let me see, where is it? Okay, here we go. Nope, they don't show that anymore. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You get the story, you can look it up yourself. Yes. So that was yesterday, and today, yes, things are already very different. Anyway, this was just a little excursion into the world of politics, which I don't think are that super important anymore, but they definitely will pick up as soon as the general energy shifts. Politics cannot stand on the side. They will have to adapt to the general frequency. And it is interesting that this degree is where the black moon is in the New World chart, 1928. So it's really the shadow coming out into the open. Also interesting is that, remember the 21st degree of Aries and Libra, that was where this last solar eclipse took place, 21 Libra. The Juno Chiron opposition, which is all about the wounding which has been applied, you could say, to the population by the whole divisions tactics and such. That is that Chiron Juno divide and conquer, black white, Democrats, Republicans, you name it. It's always that game, and that is going to be healed with this eclipse. This is definitely coming now into the center of attention. And we are getting into the year 2024. This, the year of the dragon coming up. This in itself should tell you this will be a year of taking the power back, most certainly. 2023 was kind of the hinge, as I said many times, and it has we have come long ways, for sure. I mean, for sure since 2020. But 2023 is the year where really the balance shifts and where it's becoming unquestionable for anyone who has a little more profound view of what is going on, not getting stuck on the surface of whatever the propaganda is telling us, but seeing a bit deeper. And we definitely see many signs that yes, we're moving in the right direction. The momentum is growing, and so let's just go to this chart. Now, we talked about Astrea and Vesta before, who had their geocentric conjunction on the 23rd of September, and on the 29th, just shortly after the eclipse, a day or so after, actually at 10:36 p.m, they will have their heliocentric conjunction, starting a new cycle. Here are the two. Interesting also that in the lunar eclipse chart here, which is, as I say, about, you see this is 28th, 8:14 p.m. here. That pair is at the ascendant, and we have seen it many times in the last few weeks. These two play a major role. It is the dedication to clean up, to make it a priority, and it's actually a spiritual endeavor with Vesta here. There's a deep longing for that purity of getting on top of all problems and resolving everything, and Astrea is the one with a great tool set, knowing how to deal with situations, how to best get on top of things. So it so happens that yes, these two have their heliocentric conjunction. You see, just 26 hours after the eclipse, and this is the geocentric chart of that moment. The moon by that time very closely aligned with Uranus. Yes, this really will spark a whole new momentum again, and this chart is resonating with many other charts which I've shown you, particularly the Venus loop. Venus loop, which means that whole Venus energy expressing itself through that whole year, where Venus turned entered that loop, which I keep referring to as a super important moment. Well, I guess I quickly should pull it up as I speak of it. That was D31. Let's just bear with me a second. I want to show you. I spoke of these charts earlier, so you can go back into my archive and look up. That was this chart here. That was on June 19, when Venus first crossed that 12 degrees 12 in Leo, where she eventually was returning back to. I guess it was on the 4th of September when eventually Venus turned to direct motion again in that degree. But this first activation point is super powerful. It really lays the foundation for that whole next cycle till again a planet gets ready to get into a retrograde cycle. So this resonance in itself makes Venus even more important, and Venus, you see here in the heliocentric perspective, is just coming out of this conjunction with Vesta and Astrea. Again, the asteroids, they are showing the roles we human beings are meant to play. These are the roles, you could say, God is giving us in order to express this higher intention and make it happen, give it physical form. That's why it is really true. We are the ones we have been waiting for, as the saying goes. This has become so very obvious over the last few years. Interesting also, there will be an exact Mercury-Mars conjunction. Mercury-Mars, you remember, had an occultation just before the solar eclipse and after the solar eclipse. Mercury-Mars definitely are also that whole war kind of theme of getting into each other's hair and creating conflict, creating that energy of strife which we are sorting out collectively, globally, as it expresses in the in Israel again, Israel and Gaza and such. So this could be really the last big war, as people are truly waking up and seeing it's not neither the Israelis nor the Palestinians. It's they both are just used, played out against each other. It's really the military-industrial complex which President Eisenhower was warning us in 1958 already, I guess that was. So anyway, you see all these things are starting to come together. Interesting also that the node is still approaching Aries. We'll have the one and only exact conjunction on November the 2nd, so this is still building, and this is that deep I would say it's almost a pull. The nodes are always a kind of a dynamic motion in that direction, and the motion here is colored by Aries, all about truth and integrity, non-censored speaking and acting, just being raw and direct and open. And that is very important in these days. Just say no, that is where this is all going. And in this context, I would like to share this one with you, which I also shared on my Facebook page. A great talk by Dr. David Martin. Don't fear the coming lockdowns, the cabal is already dead. Man in America. Yes, dead man walking, they already have lost their power. It's mere silhouettes. And he really, I said that before, you might have heard me. It is true. These are empty facades. It's nothing behind anymore, just pure gestures. So this all is very much described in this North Node Eris conjunction, that strong pushback which is now happening everywhere. Yes, I guess it's obvious. It had to happen at some point, and now is the time. We are building the foundation for the year 2024, yes. With Jupiter turning direct on the last day of the year, that is really the entry point into a whole new forward motion. And yes, I mean, you see, it's again not just that Jupiter is here sharing this degree where the eclipse is happening after tomorrow, but also the descendant is here. And then here, when Saturn is turning into direct motion, you have the Sun-Jupiter opposition. So yeah, there's lots and lots of Jupiter energy being released. So this is the heliocentric asteroid Vesta conjunction for Washington. I found this interesting. Pluto here at the 10th house cusp. Yes, it's a public, very visible transformation of power. That is what is underway, and it's surprising. It's unprecedented what is happening. Very exciting, absolutely. This was the last Nessus Orcus opposition, just showing you this for this reason. So between the years 2018, I guess, till 2025, we have 17 oppositions. And this one seems to be the most powerful one. I show you this in my upcoming video, as I say. So just watch out for it. Please subscribe so you don't miss the notification. And okay, so you see this was on October 22nd. The moon, Pluto. I mean, the moon is always representing the people. So the people are really the ones which are now at the root of these changes. It's coming from bottom up, from the grassroots. Tune is definitely changing, and this same energy has already been laid an earlier foundation when Mars and Chiron had their opposition on the 24th of September. You can go back to that recording too. That was super important. On that same day, the green comet reached its maximum longitude this year. That was another interesting coincidence. And again, on the 23rd was the third Australia Vesta conjunction as seen from Earth. Anyway, it's all pointing in the same direction. We are building a very, very strong foundation now for the year 2024. this will be an unquestionable shift going in the right direction. Yes, nothing can stop what is coming, as we have heard already 5-6 years ago. Yes, all is kind of step by step, brick by brick being built up to that place where it is becoming a reality, and it is most exciting times we are in. So just say no. This should be your mantra wherever. Stand up, don't go with any intimidation tactics anymore, and be open and honest, and do not censor yourself. Super important. We are doing this together, and we will succeed. We will reclaim this earth and push out that interdimensional force which has no business on this planet. Thank you for joining and listening, and enjoy the ride. It's once in a lifetime. It will be told for generations to come. This was the time when we did it, and we're just about there.